What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another Print Factory show here on a Wednesday. And we got the full crew with us today. We got Big T in the house, and we got ODB back after 2 weeks. And I got to go to my man ODB first. It's good to have you back on the show. What's going on?
Man, I missed you guys. But yeah, excited to be here. Got some teeth work done, and now I'm here for the Big T. The Big T finally crushes a main slate, gets all the beautiful giblets. We're here to celebrate and look forward to next week.
Big T, the giblets, they're floating down. I don't know. They're just floating down as you start talking. You'll start seeing the money symbols just float down Big T's face. But what about the hockey streets yesterday, Big T? Any luck in the hockey streets?
We had a couple top tens, somewhat late. Had some chances. I didn't end up doing anything crazy, but I've said it all along. It's the one sport I legitimately know nothing about. I know a decent amount about everything else. It's hockey, I don't even know a single player, basically. I let SaberSim run, though, and some of the things I think it's pretty good to show, like what we do at Run Pure, because when I don't know something about a sport, I can go into SaberSim, run some teams, look at our content. I watched the show. I thought the show was pretty good, took some notes. And when you don't know a sport, you gotta work a little harder at it. So I had to use the content and see what I could do. It was fun, though. Sometimes I like playing sports when I don't know as much, just because the bias is out. We don't have any biases like we do with the sports we watch, like football. So I enjoyed it. Last night was college football, the MACtion, and hockey. I love it. Just because we had a big weekend doesn't mean we don't get right back to battle the next week.
Absolutely. Got to get back to battle. And yeah, shout out to Wiley, Matty Ice, Saul for a good hockey show yesterday. I listened to it as well. And I thought they did a good job. I thought they, tried to explain it as best they could, because I know there were a lot of new people, I'm sure, who were playing hockey for, the first time or first couple times. So definitely helpful. And I just pulled up Twitter, Tony. I also saw, not only are you running pure in the DFS streets recently, but the best ball streets right now. You are in first place in the best ball contest, and are we officially halfway?
Past halfway, 17
past
weeks.
Halfway.
We're 9 weeks in, so we are past the halfway point in first place, and we got past the week where we weren't going to have a quarterback last week. We're in good shape. Obviously, long way to go. Got to keep the people healthy, but can't complain being in first more than halfway through. It'd be sweet to get a W there. I would value that dub as much as any, just because of how good the competition was. And let's face it, I'm no best ball expert. So it was fun to get in there and slop around a little bit in there.
I mean, let's just face it, Tony, for someone who does not really do much best ball stuff, to go in there in a competition with 11 other sharp guys and to come out and be in first over halfway through the year, that's got to feel good. It's got to feel good for you. You drafted.
We're about to start getting healthy too. We've had a few injuries with quarterbacks and some key other guys. We got a couple coming back the next couple weeks. Things are rounding into form a little bit here for the boys.
Yeah, and
Fade this week
should be back hopefully next week, because they got a bye this week. So good teams on a bye, by the way, this week. Miami, Philly.
It's a tough week in this season long. There's a lot of guys out. I'm in another super high stakes league with another one of our buddies, and man, our team is so terrible this week with byes and injuries and stuff. This week's going to be crazy for best ball. There's so many quarterbacks out. So many bye weeks. It is going to be a real crazy week.
And you would assume too, Tony, some of these teams like at the top near you got to have like an AJ Brown, a Jalen Hurts, a Tyreek Hill. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing. Like those are the tough weeks to get by when you have those like steady rock guys that are always giving your team like 15 plus. Like you rely on that 15 plus points. Maybe the big ceiling game, like.
CD Lamb is our hero right now. I think 2 weeks ago on the show, on this show, I said he was a guy I wanted to bookmark for the rest of the year. And the last 2 weeks, he's absolutely nuked since then. And they figured out how to use him in this Justin Jefferson role. and he just looks incredible. He was the reason last week too that the big week happened. I needed him to have a big afternoon, had a monster afternoon, and came through. So that was fun to watch.
Our tight ends crushing too. Cole Kmet and Taysom Hill.
Taysom, baby. Tell me Taysom ever lets us down. I mean, that dude does not let us down.
Yeah, Darren Waller was your TE1, and he's dead, and now
TE2
Who needs
and 3 Darren Waller? We don't need his ass. We got Taysom, baby.
Darren Waller. I mean, the Giants team is just killing us. That's the one thing that's actually killing us the most is the Giants team right now. Saquon's, it's going to be tough sledding for Saquon.
It's going to be tough for the Giants with this guy in there. Man, it is going to be tough.
That's okay.
Tough
we got that Bears stack is about ready to take off.
It's going to nuke the second half. It's going to be the home bringer.
It's unfortunate. Like I said before the show, I said that Justin Fields looks doubtful for this week's game. So hopefully he plays next week. But man, I really feel he would have killed Carolina. So that's unfortunate.
Have you looked at the Bears schedule though? Like it is.
Is it good? I mean, Carolina is a great matchup.
The only issue is they got Cleveland at Cleveland and they got Detroit twice. But besides that, they got pretty soft the whole way home.
The only good thing about Detroit is they're definitely going to play from behind. I mean, they should be playing from behind, which will hopefully help the Fields, stats for DFS. But
and they got tough spots. The big weeks will be week 16, 17, obviously, as we come down the homes. They got Arizona in week 16. That's very nice. And then Atlanta week 17. So that'll be good.
That's even better.
It'll be good for the home stretch for sure.
This is crazy. We got only a 50K best ball entry could get Big T looking ahead to week 16 to see who his stack plays for only a 50K. That's how rich Big T is. Only a 50K entry could get him to do that. So. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into this main slate here. Obviously, guys, Carolina and Chicago. That'll be the showdown game tomorrow. So if you're looking for that, we'll have showdown shows 11 a.m. Eastern time. Rubio and AP do the SaberSim show tomorrow morning, and then we'll have a Up to Lock Print Factory. Me, Big T, hopefully Wiley will be there for that if he doesn't have any girls volleyball games to go to, volleyball games to go to. I think that's what happened on Monday. So hopefully he doesn't have one of those, and we'll get him for that show. That will be Up to Lock. So like 7:15, 8:15. We'll be doing that. So check those shows out tomorrow on this YouTube channel. And obviously hit the like button on this show. If you enjoy the show, hit that thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel for all the free shows. Like I said, tomorrow we'll have a ton of free shows. If you're in the NBA, we got an NBA free show later today, 4:45 Eastern time. And then Up to Lock show for the premium members at 6. So big slate for NBA. If you're in the NBA, check us out. NBA 15 is our promo code right now. Get you 15% off your first month's payment over at runpuresports.com. So use that code NBA 15 for 15% off. All right, boys, let's go. Cleveland, Baltimore. First game I got on the slate here. And these two teams, two really good defenses. I don't know if it's the best game maybe for fantasy, but definitely a game that I think is going to be a competitive game, more of like a better real life football game than a fantasy game. But I think, it's still a good spot to kind of go over and talk about. But what are we doing with these two teams? It's a 6-point spread. Baltimore's favored by 6 at home, and it's a 38.5 total. ODB, I'll throw it to you first.
Yeah, first of all, before we get started, thanks to Big T and the Run Pure group, make this show live free today. So you're watching, you obviously care about this, what we have to say. And if you're not a member, look into Run Pure and also make sure to like it. So we do more free shows and do more stuff on the premium shows for you guys. So thanks to those guys. Always
there
fun.
We go. Josh D signing up today for RPS. We love it. Josh D, send me your info. I'm going to send you a hat for signing up today.
Let's go, baby. Free hats too.
Onto this game.
New one.
I'm not really there. Look at that bad boy.
I don't even have one of those, by the way. ODB, you got one of those?
Who was it? Josh
I
is
have
going
a
to get
hat,
one
but
before you.
I don't really wear hats. When you got hair like this, man, you can't cover that shit up. You gotta
No,
let it.
it looks
You gotta
good.
let it
I'll
go.
admit it. It looks good up there, LDB.
No, I'm not really a hat guy. I wear a hat when I play golf. That's it. But they're good looking hats. On to Baltimore, Cleveland. I gotta admit, I've kind of let the bias of that Indianapolis Baltimore game kind of cloud my thoughts on Baltimore. I've not quite jumped on them the way I probably should have. That being said, I really do like this Cleveland team. I love this defense. And the offense, I like the weapons, and it just all comes down to Deshaun is better and not making mistakes. I think these divisional games, Cleveland plays them really tough, like really tough. I think Baltimore blew them out earlier in the year, but I think they had some shit ass quarterback playing for him who was maybe that Dorian guy or whatever. So I'm going to throw that game out, but I think I like Cleveland this week. I think they keep it close. 6 points seems like a lot of points to give that defense. They're not going to be like really Baltimore really has really prospered versus teams that haven't played against his style. I mean, he's just got such a different running style and throwing style and hanging out in the pocket and making guys miss and all that stuff. Cleveland's seen it. Myles Garrett's seen this guy since he was a rookie. He's not going to be fooled by any of that. Stefanski's game plan for them a bunch. I see this as a really close, tough defensive game, like a 23-20 either way. I'm going to take the almost a touchdown here. I don't even feel like you need to jump on it right now at 6. It could get up to 6.5. That might be a key point. But if you want to get it now, and just in case, obviously 6 is more important than 5.5. So, but yeah, I like Cleveland in this game. Nothing fantasy wise. But yeah, I like Cleveland. That's not one of my best plays, but it's definitely going to be in my top tier of plays this week.
Yeah, Tony, I know you've been a big Cleveland supporter, at least of the defense all year. You said it was one of the best defenses in football. I think you've got 2 of the better defenses in football, honestly, going against each other this week because Baltimore's defense has been pretty freaking good recently, too. What are you doing with this game?
Yeah, it sucks being a Bengals fan as they get kind of ramped up here because this division's so good. Cleveland and Baltimore, great defenses. Pittsburgh, great defense, not a good offense. But, I mean, it's all 4 of the teams in the playoffs if it started today. It's pretty crazy. I mean, if your worst team in your division is a Tomlin 5-3 Pittsburgh team with a great pass rush, that's a freaking good division. So I'm a Cleveland guy. I think Baltimore, I've been on Baltimore the last couple weeks. Even the Detroit game, I was pretty heavy on them. I think they look good, but I got to take the points with Cleveland. Their D is good. Like you guys said, they know the division. They know Lamar's style. I feel like my only worry at all is the number does feel heavy. And it makes me feel like they're not worried about the Cleveland action. But Baltimore is a big public team. I know a lot of the power rankings, even our boy Stats at Run Pure, has Baltimore like number 1 or number 2 right now overall, just power rankings. So that says something about the spread too. I definitely think Baltimore is a little overrated right now as far as that. Like, I think a lot of people think they're 1 or 2. I think they're a good team. I've talked them up the last couple of weeks. I don't think they're a top 1 or 2 team in football, though. I just don't. So I got to go with Cleveland here. I do think it's a close game, though. I won't be surprised if Tucker kicks a game winner or something. And fantasy-wise, I mean, you can play – the good part about Baltimore, you can play Lamar, Andrews, these guys, but it's a tough matchup. 2 good Ds. I see this game being very low scoring. I don't see Amari Cooper. I was on him last week. Home splits. Always home splits with Cooper. He's on the road here. Won't be on him. No fantasy plays for me, but I'll be on Cleveland.
I heard DVOA from somebody said DVOA has Baltimore ranked as the best team of either all time or in the last 20 years or something right now. Like some ridiculous stat. That's nonsense. They're not.
All the numbers guys love Baltimore.
Yeah, they're not that team. They're fine. They're a good team, but they didn't win the Super Bowl either.
No chance. I will be. I'll eat this hat when they. What are they? Is that what they say on these shows? I'll eat my hat if they win the Super Bowl.
Eat your hat. Okay.
That's what they say, don't they? Isn't that like the saying when you want?
You're going to walk naked to LA. I don't know. Some bullshit. That you'll never do.
Whatever the saying is.
Big T's
that's
going
what
streaking. What the hell? Big T's going streaking now all of a sudden. If Baltimore wins it, they ain't winning it, so it's fine. You'll be fine, Big T. Beanair in the live show chat says, sorry, JSU, I missed the last episode of Love Island, so can't watch live. I'll catch the rerun. I don't know what Love Island is, but have fun, Beanair. Enjoy. And make sure you hit the like button when you watch the rerun, by the way. I think that the 6, taking the points for Cleveland is definitely the way to go. This game's going under, and this game's going to be close. So I also think taking a stab on Cleveland just in the money line at plus 230 is fine as well. Sprinkle a little of that in there because
my only worry at all,
just
looking at it, is how the hell is Cleveland going to score? That's
I
my
think
only
this game's
worry.
going to be really close. Like,
yeah.
I
almost think it's like we play the under, though. Play the under in Cleveland, and you can't lose both. It's one of those games where I don't see us losing both.
Yeah,
I think Baltimore's D's overrated. I think
it is too, but Cleveland's roster on offense is not.
The roster's not bad.
Impressive.
They just piss on themselves too much. But
yeah,
I don't even think. I think they've got talent. I mean, the receivers are good.
Though,
the tight end's good. The running backs, they've got a 3-headed monster. Like well, kind of 2-headed, I guess. Ford and Hunt. Hunt's really good short yardage. Jerome Ford breaks them. They can move the ball. They're not inept. They're not inept on offense.
So I don't know if you want to play this guy. Probably not the spot for him this week. But since they traded DPJ last week or whatever it was, Cedric Tillman did play a lot. And he's 3K. So just keep an eye on that. I think he played like 74% of the snaps. Clearly that trade was to open up playing time for him. So Tony, that's a rookie receiver. I don't know.
I was a massive fan of him in college too. Massive fan. So,
I mean, that trade was clear. It was because in my head, I was like, wait, why did Detroit trade for him? And why did they just out of the blue trade DPJ? But this makes sense now. They
hopefully they're on a showdown slate soon and we can play him. You can't play him on a main slate yet, but
I mean, he's 3K. That's the only reason why I said it is he's 3K and he's playing that much. I mean, he's playing more. He played more than Elijah Moore last week. So
yeah, I mean, he's probably more talented than Elijah Moore.
Yeah, you watch more college football than me last year, so I
it's going to take him some time, though. Like, I don't think he's a main slate play. If the perfect scenario for us is he's on a showdown like next week versus a bad team that I haven't looked ahead, obviously, but
hopefully it just does nothing. Hopefully, it just does nothing this coming week.
Bookmark him. Is your point? Like bookmark him for a better spot here soon.
Bookmark him as a 3K guy, like in a better spot. But if you are 150ing, you could sprinkle him in 150, right, Tony? Like you
can. I just don't like. I mean, even if he does good, he's not getting us more than. I mean, what's Wiley always say? The 335 and 1. I mean, he's not.
Yeah, 335 and 1.
I mean, I don't know. He's fine.
He's not nuking, is what you're saying. He's not nuking.
I don't think he's nuking yet. At some point, maybe down the road.
All right, well, bookmark him. Bookmark him. I just thought that was interesting that I saw that open up for him. So let's move on to the next game here. Actually,
what's mean from Mark James? What is Oz? Oz came for the Bengals. When was that? I want to see that. I love that Oz. He was at the DK golf thing last year. I love that.
You mean the guy who does like the
mind reading?
Oh, you didn't see that little clip
with the Bengals? I didn't see the Bengals one.
Yeah,
I've seen all his other
one. Was it Tyler Boyd? It was something about write down your girlfriend, like the first girl you ever kissed or something like that, and write down the name and the whatever.
I still don't get how he does it.
I don't understand.
When we were in Arizona, Cam, everyone knows Club Cam, was at my table and his wife, and he asked his wife how much was in her purse or something. I forget the exact thing. And no, there's no way he could have known. It was a number like $573 or something. And he guessed it. And we all three just looked at each other like, there's no damn way.
So he's one of those people?
it was him. It was Oz.
Oh, it was Oz.
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
like,
him
what?
before he did all
Okay.
these NFL things. Yeah. And I still don't get it. And
Yeah,
like he would have you roll a dice on the table and not show anyone and like bury it with your hand, and he would guess it every time. Like it was mind blowing. But whatever.
That's crazy.
Beside the point.
It is crazy though. All right, next game we got here is where is it? Texans and Bengals. Another 6.5 point spread. Bengals favored at home. 48 is the total in this game. We just saw the Bengals have a really good win against the Bills.
Bengals are back, baby. Our show Bengals. It's our squad.
Could be back.
We're back.
Could be back. And we saw the Texans just explode the main slate and ship a ton of people money, including our guy Big T and a few other members. But wipe that chair. No fucking way. This chair is, listen, there's so many winners that I picked from this chair that it will never be touched. Okay. I might, you know what? When I get a new chair, I might just sit this chair like right
yeah, put it right in the corner.
Chair.
Just still sitting back there.
Just so I could like sit in it once in a while. Like just
like
Tony, like while we're doing a show, I'll randomly swap seats.
Yeah.
And I'll swap like the camera on my monitor and just sit in it for a few minutes, and then I'll swap back. I might do that. Actually.
I love it.
But either way, these are two teams that are coming off big wins, big performances.
These are like show teams too, right? We've been on Houston from week 1 on this show.
Yeah. I mean, Tank Dell's been a hero all year. Wiley had the Noah Brown call last week at like 3,100 that exploded. Dalton Schultz in this kind of like the last couple weeks has been coming on really strong.
Finally got the actual price bump now.
Yeah, but he's been good for the last like 3 or 4 weeks, I think. So what are we doing, Tony? This got to be a game that you might like, I assume, but Bengals defenses look good. I will just say that.
Cincinnati's the one. So the last 3 years, they go to the AFC title game, the Super Bowl, and now this year. Their D coordinator, I always forget what his name is, but
Big Lou.
He is so freaking good. I'm going to be so pissed when he gets a head coaching job because his adjustments and his game plans are just outrageous. And he's done it against the best teams. Kansas City in the playoffs, he's really slowed down. Buffalo, he slowed down a bunch. I mean, Buffalo really couldn't move the ball in that game. They got a few drives, but the guy is so good, and I think he schemed something up here. My worry, Jamar Chase feels actually questionable to me. I won't be shocked if he missed that big fall where he jumped up and fell on his head and back. I kind of feel like he might miss. Obviously, we're doing this on Wednesday. If he misses, I like them significantly less. Obviously, he's a very important piece of what they do. But I like both of these teams, and it's not a spot where I'm going to be on Cincinnati. I've said it a lot of times. I like Cincinnati. That spot Sunday night is when I love Cincinnati. When they're giving 1 or 2 to Buffalo, a team they've owned, that's easy money. That's what we like as Bengals fans. Giving 6.5 to Houston, who's an underrated team, that's not my spot for the Bengals. That's just not it. So if anything, I would actually take the Houston side of this. My worry, though, is, like we said, the Cincinnati D coordinator is very good. I think their D is underrated. Jamar Chase is banged up. I think this game goes under. I think it is a little bit of a letdown fantasy-wise because a lot of people are going to see high-powered Bengals offense. Houston just scored all those points last week. The total's 48 or something right now. I think it goes under, though. I think this game plays a lot slower than people think. And I want to wait on the Chase news to make final decisions. But you can go. So one really good play, Tanner Hudson, 2,500, that tight end spot we always talk about. He looked very good Sunday night. He's always been a great offensive piece, and they're using him more and more. If somehow Chase is out, man, Tanner Hudson at 2,500 either way. But if Chase is out, he's just an incredible play at 2,500. So, and Irwin, yeah. So in the chat, Swoop says, if Chase is out, Irwin as well. Irwin always, when T or Chase is out, is a great, great play, and he's 3K. So just pay attention, obviously, to the Chase news. Everyone's going to watch that anyways because he's one of the best plays of the week.
Yeah, those are two guys that I bookmarked, but you didn't say my favorite play, and I think Joe Mixon is just my favorite play.
God.
Tony, I've watched him the last 2 weeks, and he looks really good. Like,
God, he was so bad Sunday night.
He looks better to
we
me
made
than
it
he
2
has
games
all year.
before we got to argue. Oh my God, he looked so bad.
Wait until you look at the running backs for this week, and you're gonna end up playing Joe Mixon.
He's so bad.
You're playing Joe Mixon this week.
The only bad part is I know the flow chart's going to agree with you. So,
dude, I'm telling you right now that Joe
Houston's
Mixon is going to be the play. Joe Mixon's going to be the play. They're trying to get him the rock. They're literally trying to get him involved.
Oh, my whole week's ruined right now. You just ruined my whole week.
Jamar Chase is definitely very questionable, and you won't know. I think it's one of those things where they're going to give him up till that Sunday morning. You'll see like okay, Jamar Chase has got a chance, or he's going to test it out, because the way he fell on his back, he probably woke up the next morning in so much pain, and it didn't even hit him right away how much pain he's actually in. That's like a pain tolerance thing. So I think they give him up to, like, we won't know, Tony. I don't think he's going to get ruled out on Friday. I think it's going to be like Sunday morning. We'll find out, like, when he wakes up Sunday, if he's like feeling better or not. Those guys are freaks, though. They can come back from stuff like if that happened to me, I'd be out for like 5 weeks with a serious back injury.
I mean, they're not going to push him super. They got a bunch of big wins in a row, and I know 5-3 is not incredible, but I mean, they were dead in the water early. They're not going to worry too much about sitting him for a week or two.
No, I'm just saying, though, I think it's a feel thing. I think they're going to just let him wake up on Sunday and tell him, like, if he feels good to go or not, stuff like that. All right, Uncle T. So Uncle T's on Tony's side, dusty ass Joe Mixon. I'm just telling you right now, when you pull up the price tags on everyone and you start looking at the running backs on this slate, you're going to end up coming back to, man, Joe Mixon actually seems like a decent player.
It's going to be the flow chart more than that for me. I just know Houston's the nut matchup.
I mean, they are the nut matchup. So
Rashad White just nuked. I'm like, it's going to be through the dump off game too. He's going to get like 8 dump offs.
Mm-hmm. He's going to get a bunch of dump offs. Exactly. So bookmark it, Uncle T. Write it down. You'll be playing Joe Mixon on Sunday. I can already feel Uncle T is going to come back and start coming back around to Joe Mixon. But ODB, who do you got in this game?
Well, first off, thank you for coming to me. Second of all, Jace, you stole my thunder. I was going to say I love Joe Mixon in this game, and that the DFS community has Joe Mixon fatigue. Nobody wants to click on Joe Mixon. Everybody's seen the projections. Click Joe Mixon for fucking 3 years, and he never performs. I think the Bengals game plan is going to be let's just keep CJ Stroud off the field. I thought Mixon looked pretty good versus Buffalo. I thought it was.
You guys stop.
I thought they used him a lot. I thought they
always used him a lot.
Dude,
they wanted to keep
burst. I don't know.
Oh God, where was the burst?
He had burst. I'm telling
you.
I'm telling you.
Nobody's sitting here saying Joe Mixon is the second coming or even a good running back, but his usage is elite. His matchup is elite. And without Chase, I think Mixon is a really, really going to be really strong play this week. As for the game, I don't really like it. I really like both of these teams in general, and they're both coming off monster wins. They both have a little, just celebration fatigue from probably the 2 biggest wins outside of the Eagles, I guess. The 2 biggest wins in Minnesota, I guess, but 2 of the biggest wins of the week. So I'm not really sure. I don't know if Houston's ready to step up in class to this Bengals team. And I could really see just the Bengals having the ball for 42 minutes in this game and winning. But also this team's feisty. So, Like they could hang into. I don't really have a strong take for what I like in this game. The one thing I like in this game is Mixon.
There you go. All right. Well, ODBC, this is why I had to talk before you, because I knew that you were going to like Joe Mixon too. So I had a feeling you'd like him, and that's why I had to get my take in first. But unfortunately, Tony doesn't like him. He'll come back to him though by Sunday.
I said I
put my. You know what? I've never given a guarantee on any show I've ever done.
I already said
Tony
I like
will come
the
back
matchup. You
to
jack
Joe
off?
Mixon, and on the Woods show, he's going to talk him up on the Woods.
You're literally
Listen,
saying the same
flow
thing.
chart. Listen, on the flow chart, guys, it's the flow chart. He's the best play. Landscape edition flow chart, by the way, the landscape version of the flow chart as well. So
stop.
Facts.
There's a massive difference between me playing him and what you guys are saying that he looked good.
I mean, the last 2 games he's looked better than the
2
rest
weeks
of
ago
the
I
season.
thought he looked good. This week I thought he looked like shit.
It might also, if you're gonna play this game and you want to do Burrow with whatever, it's probably Nico week. Now that Noah and Dell got all the hype, it's probably Nico week. It seems to be like when you got teams that have like these multiple receivers that are all like 1A, 1B, like whenever one of them goes off, it's the other one the next week. It's like,
the pricing too makes it so much sense for you because Nico got a bump and Tank didn't get that much of a bump. He's 1,100 more.
Nico finally got like a big bump too. Like he finally got like an actual bump.
Yeah, it might be Nico week. Also, one more thing on this game. Tony mentioned Hudson. I'd be a little scared of that. Irv Smith and Sample got a lot of work. Like they used all 3 tight ends. So really tough to nuke, and you're just kind of like guessing on as far as which one catches the touchdown. I mean, Irv Smith was heavily involved in the showdown slate, so I don't know if I love that. I don't know if I love that call.
So the tight end plays, just from what I saw, was on downs where they needed a blocker. Drew Sample was the guy. Like if you watch the touchdown, Drew Sample was a blocker. He was meant to block.
Yeah, I know, and he was just off into space. Yeah.
He leaked out and no one was on that side and he scored. But like he was mainly a blocker most of the time.
But not Irv. Irv wasn't.
Came in like the red zone area.
Exactly. That's why it's tough for Hudson to
I'll take Hudson over Irv. Friendly bet between me and LDB for
I don't like Irv. What I'm just saying is that these guys are going to steal a few looks. So it's real hard to nuke when you got other tight ends stealing looks because there's not that many looks available.
Nuking for 2,500 though means like a touchdown and 30 yards.
And ODB, if Tony likes Houston, maybe Houston gets the lead and that forces Tanner Hudson onto the field more.
Yeah,
he's the pass catcher.
Irv sucks. Irv is so bad.
I mean, he made a great catch. That touchdown catch was really.
That was a great catch. I'll give him that.
How long before Irv Smith gets injured again? I give him.
Irv Smith is.
He always gets injured.
I'm not saying any of these guys are good or that Hudson can't catch.
Yeah, you're saying there's 3 of them.
I'm just saying there's 3. I'd rather pay 3,000 for.
There's even 4. I think Wilcox was active too. I'm pretty sure. Maybe he wasn't. He might have been out. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if he was in or out, but I know those 3 played.
He was active. Actually, I got it on my screen still. I forgot I pulled it up. He played 14%, Wilcox. So there's 4 of them even.
Yeah, it's just tough. It's just tough. There are other $2,500 to $3,500 guys you can get that are going to get, a lot more percentage.
The only reason I'm saying it, the only reason, again, I don't want to bring everything to the flow chart, but it means something to me. Last week, I said on the show, JSU made fun of me just to put a little needle about Cade Otton. I said Cade Otton is a massive flow chart. Tight ends against Houston and running backs that can catch the ball are like the 2 sweetest spots there is. So that's the only reason I like it too. But you're right. There's 3 or 4 of them. You got to get a little lucky. Totally agree with what you're saying.
All right, let's go to San Francisco, Jacksonville here. 3-point spread. San Fran is favored in Jacksonville. 45.5 is the total in this game here. So we got 2 pretty good teams going up against each other. Jacksonville, coming on strong. San Francisco, they got the bye, so they're coming off the bye, obviously, from last week. Same with Jacksonville. Both teams coming off a bye. So what are we doing with this game, ODB? I'll go to you first.
This is a game I'm really just excited to watch from a football standpoint. This is probably my favorite game of the week just to watch. Um, really like both these teams just in general. I mean, I've been a big Jacksonville stan for, the last year or two. I really like Lawrence. They're both coming off bye, so that's irrelevant. San Francisco traveling across the country, playing in an earlier time slot might matter, but since it's off a bye, I'm sure they'll time that out well. I think this is just pretty much an even game. I'm not really sure why San Francisco's defense has struggled the last couple of weeks, but they've really not looked very, very good. Purdy hasn't looked as good. I'm not really sure what's going on, if Debo's playing or not. I mean, this is early in the week, so I haven't really checked out everything. I'm leaning towards Jacksonville just with the points. I think this is kind of a coin flippy game. I'm getting a field goal at home. I think this game's going to come down to the end. We have seen San Francisco come into these spots versus these semi-softer teams and just kind of lay the smackdown, though. So not going to probably be a big play for me. But Jacksonville's defense has played surprisingly well. I trust Trevor, and I like the weapons they have. So I think they can compete. I'm probably just going to take the field goal, but I don't think this is going to be a huge play for me. But that's kind of where I'm leaning. Fantasy-wise, I haven't really dove into the matchup, so I don't really have anything strong. You guys might say something over the next 5 minutes that makes me
I'll
like
convince
something.
you to do something in this game.
Yep.
All right, well, Tony, convince us here on this game.
So I haven't given a stone cold lock in a long time, or maybe I have. I don't remember the last stone cold lock I gave, but this game to me is a stone cold lock. And these are two of our teams. I think we all like Jacksonville. I think we all like San Fran a little bit, but this to me is 1,000,000% a San Francisco spot that they're going to come and they're going to just shove right up Jacksonville's ass. And coming off the bye, Shanahan's going to have it all dialed in. First game with the pickup, they got that pass rush even more dialed in. Trevor Lawrence, I don't love him in this spot at all. I think San Fran at -3, stone cold lock. I think they win easy. I think McCaffrey's the best play of the week. I think he's just going to nuke off the bye. Absolutely love it. Like, back the truck up and bet as much as you can on it type game.
Yeah, I agree with San Francisco here, and I would love Debo if he's fully healthy.
He'll be back off the bye week. He's going to crush.
I think this is a Debo spot here. So yeah, I mean, as long as he's good to go, and I think he will be too, Tony. But I just want to hear them say something about he's going to be 100% go or like whatever, that there's no limitations. And I'd be on Debo, and I like the 49ers with you. I think he will kind of really help Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy struggled recently, but I think Debo coming back, that'll definitely help. And definitely a tough spot for Jacksonville, who, let's be honest, Jacksonville's come off of games against Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Indianapolis. You look at, San Francisco, they've had at least two tougher spots at Cleveland in that terrible weather. The game against Minnesota was the one weird one, and then Cincinnati obviously coming on really strong. So, those are two tough spots in my opinion. But this is a get right spot for San Francisco, and I think they win as well. So move on to the next game here. We got New Orleans and Minnesota here. 2.5-point spread. New Orleans is favored in Minnesota, and one of the craziest storylines is Josh Dobbs coming off of just being traded to Minnesota, and the guy has to,
if you're Atlanta, you should get relegated.
Like, what do you mean? Like
soccer, you get kicked down to whatever the next league is, the XFL. They got to go play in the XFL.
Canadian Football League. You send them to Canada. You just send them.
You lose to a quarterback that doesn't know half the guys' names or the playbook, then you got to go down to the CFL for a few weeks.
Did you see the video of him and the lineman in Bradbury? Yeah. Just like it was the first time he'd ever.
So NFL. How did that happen?
The stories coming out about how he didn't throw to anyone. He didn't throw any first team reps, nothing. He had no practice with these guys all week. He didn't know half their names, like half their full names on the offense. And he's out there playing quarterback for this team and winning a football game on top of it is just absolutely insane. And listen, I'm not saying he played perfect. Like, obviously he didn't play perfect, but
he got a W in the NFL.
Got a W. Yeah. I mean, like, that's all you want at the end of the day. And he was good fantasy wise too. That's the other thing. Like, I mean, 26 fantasy points. He's 5,500. Tony, what are we doing with Minnesota? They got weapons. I know Osborne got hurt in that last game, but
that was I'm on New Orleans for sure here. He's not going 2 for 2. He's coming back to reality in a hurry this week with a week to prepare. I think it'll actually be harder for him this week because one of the positives about that game, he's got no pressure on him. Like, no one expects anything. He doesn't know anyone. This week it's a little different. So, I mean, I love New Orleans in this spot. I think New Orleans, there's no way New Orleans is losing to Minnesota this week. So I like them. Taysom is up to 5,100 now. He just, as a Taysom guy, like, they're just giving him the ball more. So I don't think you can play him, but man, he has nuked 3 straight weeks now. And I just, the man is doing everything, but Kamara tilted me last week. ODB said it best in one of our threads. I don't remember, but I've always hated Kamara, and luckily he didn't cost that much this week because I got second in the contest. I wouldn't have got first. Utica won by 25 points or something. So even if Kamara did good, it wouldn't have mattered. But it was still tilting that the team was that good, and Kamara somehow has 10 points in the nut, man. I hate Kamara. But I'm sure this week when I'm back off of him, he'll go and nuke at 8,300. Will he come in low owned at 8,300? Probably.
I don't know. People love playing Kamara. He's still got to have
last week had to tilt some people, but
yeah.
I
mean, we'll have to see, I guess, on Kamara, but he's just a guy I never get right either. So we're the same with Kamara.
I just hate guys that need dump offs. Like, if you need 8 dump offs.
All year I played him and he gets 10, 11. So
and he just wasn't on the field
twice. The thing with Taysom that's crazy, Tony, the guy got 5 targets in the passing game. He got rushes. And he got to throw the ball for a touchdown. Like, you literally can't make up all the shit that this dude gets.
I've said it for 7 years now, and I know everyone makes fun of me for it. The guy does everything. He's a football player. And I truly don't get why people, like, always said he sucks. I don't understand it. Just because he doesn't have a traditional position, I just don't get it.
That's why. All right, I want to talk about this game before JSU jumps on this thing.
Yeah,
go for it.
I teased on Twitter 2 games I loved this week, and this is one of them. Back it up. The Saints. Josh Dobbs off of that. Look, that was a feel-good story, and I had Minnesota and I hate Atlanta, so perfect. They're not coming out in this game. New Orleans has a great defense. These are the types of team. Yeah, he can come in and he can run around because the pressure doesn't get to him, and he runs around the right side and he scampers for 20 yards down the field to keep a ball alive. I mean, to keep a drive alive. He's not doing that against New Orleans. He's not doing that this week. The Saints are going to smash the Vikings, and Chris Olave. 6,400. I know he's been disappointing. I know Derek Carr is not the greatest quarterback in the world, but dude, this guy's 6,400 with all the talent. His targets are 8, 9, 15, and 10 in the last 4 weeks. There's going to come a time where he's going to turn those targets into a couple touchdowns and 100 yards. This might be it. I love Olave again. I'm just going to keep pounding Olave until he nukes because his price tag for his skill level is criminal, and his usage is great. His talent level is great. His outcome hasn't been, but those things all have a way of just coming back. I love the Saints this week. This is just a perfect spot, the perfect defense to go up against the team that is still injured. They have absolutely no running game. So the Saints don't have to dedicate anything to the run, and they can just drop back and they can play coverage. And they're good at playing coverage. So I think the Saints are in an absolute smash spot. I love that Tony's on it. Yeah, Saints for sure for me.
Tony, another 3K kid who came in and played a ton, Tristan Jackson. When KJ Osborne came out, he is 3K for Minnesota, and they're down Jefferson. I would assume KJ doesn't play because he's in the concussion protocol. Any interest in a 3K guy like that from Minnesota?
I just don't think you need it. I don't. Again, it's only Wednesday, so it's tougher with these takes for me until we see how the rosters come together and stuff. But just in general, I don't think so. But
okay,
he's 3K, so I'm never going to laugh too hard.
Brandon Powell's 3,200 too, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, I would just much rather play him.
Yeah,
both
if
those
you're going to play
guys
somebody, he had pretty good chemistry with him too. So if Osborne's not playing and you think they're going to be behind and they're going to throw a lot, they can't run the ball. Just pay up for Hawk or Addison, or if you absolutely need just the punt in there and you want to play Powell, he seemed to have some chemistry, but you don't have to force this 3K guy. Look, this game also, you might just want to just play the Saints D. Like, there's a good chance that Minnesota just doesn't do much. But there is
a lock defense on this slate that we'll get to. But
if you are going to
play, D's not bad.
If you are going to play, if you do want to force in a Minnesota guy, just pay up for Hawk or Addison. They're not that expensive anyway. And if you are playing Olave, like, he's not expensive, so you can just get those guys if you want to. But you don't have to force in some random ass dude who's probably sucks. Can't even play ahead of.
I've made it a point this year though, and ODB's helped me with this through some of our conversations and stuff, but I don't want it to sound results oriented just because I finally smashed the main slate, but I've been saying it for like 5 weeks now. And I said I was close even before this week. I've been saying it. One of the things I've done on main slates that's definitely helped the last 5 weeks, I just don't really play these guys that I don't think have anything. I try to stick to just the really, like New Orleans. I'm never playing freaking Michael Thomas. I'm playing Olave. Like last week, for example, I didn't love the Olave matchup, but he's a number 1 receiver with upside. I'm just leaving him in there. And if he hits on some team, then it's upside. Like I'm trying to get away from just total flyers. And tight ends a little different. So like people that are going to say, well, you talked about the Bengals tight ends. 2,500 tight end is still different for me than playing like a 3,200 receiver. Because in last week with Houston, that receiver that Wiley brought up, there was a reason to play him. He was on the field the whole game. He had shown decent upside. So that was not the same punt play as playing some of these guys. I'm just trying to get better at my whole player pool. I want to be able to be happy about every guy I play for some reason or another. I don't want to play anyone just because of price is why. And it's helped me a lot over the last 5 weeks.
Yeah, I do think those receivers are going to play a ton. Just throwing that out there for Minnesota. Like Brandon Powell is going to be on the field a ton.
I think the other dude will too, just because they've run 3 receivers all year.
Powell's fine. Powell's actually legit. Powell's been running routes for 4 weeks, like since JJ went down. Like Powell's a legitimate play. That's fine, but there's no need to go down to this other dude. But I think one of the issues that I've noticed that people seem to get burned on, not necessarily you guys or anything, but just when I look at other things and other places, when a star is out, or not even a star, but when playing time is opened up, sometimes they just automatically go to like, okay, well, Julio Jones was out for the Falcons. Let's play Zacharias. It's like, no, just play Calvin Ridley, because it's all going to funnel to the better guys. Like, instead of forcing in the fucking shit ass 3K guy, just find a way to get the other guy in your lineup. So if Osborne's not going to play, don't be forcing in this rando. Just find a way to force in Hawk, because they're just going to force the targets to him. That being said, I don't really like Minnesota anyway this week, but just in general, just as a general stream of thought.
Yep, fair enough. I like it. Let's move to.
Do you like the Saints in this game, JSU?
Oh yeah, this
Okay.
for the game. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
the same. Green Bay and Pittsburgh here. This game, this game's interesting. The Steelers are the better team. Green Bay is one of the worst teams in football. They're getting 3 points in Pittsburgh. The total's 39 in this spot. Man, I think this is going to be an ugly game. I think you could pull a Pittsburgh play if you want. I'm probably not going to play any Green Bay guys, but I like Pittsburgh in this spot. I think you could look at these running backs because they're so cheap, and this is a good spot for the running backs. Every week, Jalen Warren just looks better than Najee Harris every single fucking week. And I said it again too. I think that was a showdown slate, Tony. We were doing the show, and I go, man, against Tennessee, you need to be able to have speed on the edge, and that's the way you run against them. And Jalen Warren, with like 2 or 3 different plays, just had monster runs towards the edge where he just had the speed to get around and had monster plays that exact way. The guy's just better. I don't know why they keep running Najee Harris up the middle. I know he had a touchdown. He had 2 good runs, I guess, the whole game. It was like most of his yardage too. I think it was like 38 yards on 2 runs, but I just don't get why they keep running him over Jalen Warren. But either way, he's cheap. Warren's cheap. Deontay Johnson's cheap. I think you could play one of those guys. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is a good play against Jordan Love, who makes a lot of mistakes. He's just not a good quarterback. So, yeah, I got Steelers all day at home. Tony, what do you got?
I don't understand how Pittsburgh keeps getting all these easy matchups. For one, like Green Bay at home, Green Bay is terrible. They're so bad, and Pittsburgh has a good D. I don't see how there's points in this game, though. I mean, the Green Bay's defense is okay. Pittsburgh can't move the ball at all. Yeah, I mean, I like Pittsburgh if I had to pick because I just think Green Bay's that bad, and this pass rush is going to get to him. The one Pittsburgh guy that just has to be considered, though, is Deontay. I mean, he's 5,400. That is clearly an underprice of about 1,500, 1,000 to 1,500. He's just going to get so much volume that, I mean, like last week, 7 for 90. He finally got a touchdown. But even without the touchdown, I mean, you're still getting him 15, 16 points for 5,400. If he scores a touchdown, he's mint. I don't know. If Deontay stays 5,400 all year, I'll play him every week. He's a target.
He scored 1 touchdown in 2 years.
What stinks about Deontay is they don't have enough of a volume for him to have the explosion, like 35-point game, I don't think, because they just don't. That's not the way they like push the offense. But like Tony said, 16 points to 25, like somewhere in that range, he could definitely get just off of volume.
And he's 5,400. You don't need 30 when he's 5,400.
Right. I'm just saying you can't get like those explosion games where it's like an offensive banger type. They just don't play football that way. That's not how they like run their offense. They're not aggressive. But ODB, you like the Steelers here? Make it 3 for 3.
Yeah. I mean, I watch every game. So, you know, I love the analysts who do these shows, and they're like, I've watched the last game of this team, or I've watched every fucking snap of every team of every game. I mean, the people who say that, it's like, oh, I can't even take you seriously. But I've watched every Green Bay fucking game, and all I see is Jordan Love just throws these moon passes. Every pass is just it's basically like there's like this mythical scoreboard up there hanging, and he's trying to hit it every time. I don't know what he's doing. He doesn't throw any passes on a rope. Every pass is just straight up in the air, and Pittsburgh's going to feast on that. I like Pittsburgh. It's really tough laying 3.5, in a low scoring game, with an offense that I don't really think's that great, and a reasonable defense. But I think it's Pittsburgh. Fantasy wise, man, Pickens hurt my feelings last week with that horrendous fucking non-dragging of his foot in the end zone. But that guy's gotten his feet down a lot, and there was all this stuff made about how he stripped his Instagram of Steelers stuff and all this nonsense. I bet they mend that shit in the locker room. And Pickens just seems like he's a very emotional guy. And I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to get Pickens off this week. So he's pretty well priced. He's pretty low priced. He's not a guy I would put in like my single entry thing that I do, but to put in your 150, like they might decide to get him off to show that he's part of this team, that they know they're going to need him for the rest of the season. So I could see Pickens really having a ceiling game here, and his ceiling games are really good because he goes long. He's got long ADOTs. He catches the ball in the end zone, except for that one play. I really think Pickens is the dude. I would stay away from the running backs on Pittsburgh's side. They just split. I mean, so yeah, they're both going to get 12 points, but whatever. That doesn't work for me. Aaron Jones was a big part of the offense, but I just don't think you can have as big a ceiling against Pittsburgh, especially when your quarterback sucks. So, like, whatever. He's fine because, I mean, I'm a big Aaron Jones guy in general. I like him, but I don't know. For me, it's Pittsburgh and Pickens. Those are my plays out of this game.
All right, Pittsburgh and Pickens. Let's go to the final 1 o'clock game, Tennessee and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay just in a shootout. Now they're 1-point favorites at home to the Tennessee Titans. 38.5 is the total. ODB, I'll just throw it right back to you here. What do you got in this one?
I got nothing. These are two teams that I really they're boring. I don't like them. Whatever. I mean, I would probably lean Tampa just because Tennessee on the road has not been very good. I mean, Tennessee is best when they're like catching a few points at home versus a team just a little bit better than them that, you know, Vrabel can kind of get them up for. Their home team. I don't think they've won on the road in a year. Tampa's kind of feisty, but I mean, there's big coaching edge for the Titans. I mean, the Titans actually have a real coach, and the Tampa coach Bowles is atrocious. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Will Levis in general, so whatever. But I don't know. It's kind of a whatever game. I think this game probably comes down to the end. I think there's some really good spots on this slate that I like from a betting perspective. So I doubt I'll have a strong opinion on this one.
Yeah, I think I like Tennessee, I guess, a little more than you. I just think they have the coaching advantage. I think Will Levis, he actually showed me some good stuff in that last game against Pittsburgh. And I know you look at the numbers and say like he didn't have that much success, but Pittsburgh's got a strong defense. They were in that game the whole way. They were actually winning for a lot of it too. Like they had good spots. I thought he made some good throws in the pocket, not, getting frustrated, because they did have a pass rush on him and stuff like that. I think he made some good plays. So I'll go the Levis side here. I'm not a big fan of Tampa Bay. Tony, what do you got in this one?
Definitely no feel for me here. I hate both these teams. Yeah, I don't have a strong take. The only player take at all is just Rachaad White. I know Tennessee's like one of the best running back matchups, like to where they shut running backs down. But man, this dude gets so much volume, as much volume as anybody in football. So at 5,800, I think you have to leave him in your player pool. He just gets way too much volume in the passing game too. I mean, last week he got 20 carries and 4 targets in the passing game. He's got 4+ targets the last 4 weeks. He just got crazy volume. I don't love the matchup versus Tennessee, obviously, but in this day and age, if you can get that much volume from a running back at 5,800, you just have to at least consider it. That's the only thing I like in this game, though.
I mean, I'm going to like the passing games a little more than you, I guess, because I think it's a good Mike Evans spot to.
I like Mike Evans, but that's just literally a one-off play. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
every week I think that goes to my point I made about Olave, though. Mike Evans is just going to be in my player pool every week because he's going to nuke 3 or 4 weeks a year, and I'm going to have him when he does.
Yeah, no.
And I'm always going to fade Godwin. So we talk all the shows we do. I always say you got to pick one and fade one. At least that's kind of my opinion outside of Showdown. I'm just always going to fade Godwin for the most part, and I'm always going to play Mike Evans because of upside. Mike Evans is going to have 30-point games. Godwin's going to have 15 a lot of times, but I don't really see him getting 30 ever, hardly.
Yeah, Mike Evans definitely has like the massive ceiling games where he could have 35, you know what I mean? Where you're going to definitely want him. So, yeah, all right. I like this game a little bit more than you guys maybe. I'm on the Tennessee side. You guys didn't really have a good feel for this one. So, let's move to the next game here. Good game, too. Detroit and the Chargers here. Detroit 3-point favorites in LA. 48.5 is the total in this one. So, I think that's the biggest total on the main slate here, 48.5. Two solid teams here. What are we doing? I know we've been big Detroit supporters on this show. And then Chargers have been, definitely talented team, hit or miss some weeks, but really talented. ODB, I'll throw it to you. What do you got?
Well, I'm proud of myself on this one. If you've watched the show before, I rarely bet with juice. I have a network of people that I just kind of throw out what I like and what I don't like, and just basically try to bet with people, save juice. I think that's really the only way you can win in this kind of betting landscape. The juice is high and it's really hard to win. So I rarely pay juice, but when I saw this line come out at 1.5, and the Chargers were playing on Monday Night Football, and I didn't think their offense was going to look good, I went to the book and paid actual juice and bet on the Detroit Lions. I teased on Twitter 2 games that I absolutely loved. This is the other one, the Saints, and this one. I absolutely love the Lions here. I think this line, he said 3. I'm seeing like 2.5 still, but it might be 3, and I think it's going to get to 3. I think Detroit's going to be a big public team, and I think it's the right side. Detroit got a bye. Chargers across the country. Tough physical game against the Jets. They look like shit, despite the win. I just don't think the Chargers have enough weapons now without Williams. Johnson's not stepping up. I don't know. I mean, I like Eckler and I like Allen, but I don't know. They just don't have enough. And when Herbert, this offensive line is okay, and with the Chargers, unless they're playing a good pass rush. What the Cowboys did to him, the Cowboys just decimated Herbert. I think the Lions can do the same thing. I think the Lions are real feisty on offense. They can just do anything. I think the Lions are going to go in there with 70 to 80% of the crowd. Detroit's traveling so well. I went to the Kansas City Detroit opening game, and 35% of the stadium was Detroit, and that was with a team that the home fans keep the tickets and show up. Nobody keeps the tickets in Charger land. I think this is just going to be. This is just a Detroit home game. I love Detroit in this spot. I love Detroit, and from a fantasy perspective, I think Detroit's going to be able to move the ball. So the running back situation is kind of weird. So I don't know, but Amon always a good play. Laporta always going to be a good play. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Choose your weapons in this game. If you want to play this game, fine. But I'm just looking at it purely from a betting standpoint. I absolutely love Detroit. I'm glad I got him at 1.5. I'm sure I'll fire more at 2.5 or 3. So yeah, I love the Lions in this game. This one and the Saints are my favorite games of the week. So
Golf Drone says he took the over. I took a whiz, but yeah, I mean, hey, what are you gonna do here? It was needed. I was holding it for over an hour and had to do what you got to do. So yeah, that's that. NBA plays. If you want NBA plays, about an hour 30, we'll have an NBA show on this channel, and then Up to Lock show. Me and Kay Fallick and Holden will be bringing you guys Up to Lock on the premium side. So if you're not a member, use code NBA15. Get you all the NBA plays you need on that show. Core plays. Big T will have his player pool up, I'm sure. Tournament plays. Everything. So yeah, check that out over on the site. Tony, what do you got here with this game here? Good game.
Yeah, good game. We've been on Detroit all year. Chargers, I do feel obviously like everyone does, they're talented, but what will they do with it? Injuries, and I agree with ODB a little bit too, like their weapons. Quentin's just not ready yet, Quentin Johnston. He'll be there eventually. I think he'll be good, but he's just not there yet. So all of a sudden you only got Keenan and Eckler. Keenan's due for an injury too, and they got a few wins in a row. Looking decent. I like the Detroit side too. I do think so. They got Jalen Guyton back in the player pool. I think he's a 3K guy you could take a chance on for the Chargers more. I wanted to do it in Showdown, but he wasn't in the player pool, and he played 57% of the snaps his first week back. I bet that goes up even higher this week at 3K, especially in a trailing script. So I like him, but I don't like anything else from the Chargers. And then the Detroit side, I agree with ODB. Like, these guys are in good spots. I don't know how you can pick between them because Gibbs is with Montgomery back is overpriced. Montgomery, you're not going to want to play him with Gibbs' role. They're just both overpriced. And then receivers, this team has so much talent. I mean, Amon-Ra, Laporta's a great tight end. Peoples-Jones they traded for. Josh Reynolds has been good. Khalif Raymond's a good, like, spotty role player. And Jamison Williams can blow the top off. So they're a good team. Detroit, we've been on them from the beginning. They're just a really good team. So I think it's a good game. I'm with ODB, though. I like Detroit. I'm not going to give the full-blown back the truck up like we did with those other two, but I'm with them. I like Detroit. I like coming off the bye. I think they're too tough for them. Fantasy-wise, though, I don't see a ton. I mean, even Amon-Ra is 8,300. I'll obviously play him because he's awesome. But all these prices feel pretty fair to me in this game. Peoples-Jones and Guyton, just because they're 3K, would be – I like them more than the mid-tier guys. I don't see how you can play like David Montgomery, Gibbs. They're just too expensive with Montgomery back.
This is the kind of game where you can just – if you play other things, you know that this game might have a high total, but it just may just get spread around. So, like, you can just hope that just everybody scores like 15 or whatever, and you fade like getting nuked by somebody.
There's a lot of guys.
Laporta, if you can pay up at tight end, like Laporta gets a lot of work. I don't know what his price tag is. I'm going to guess he's like 5,000, 4,500,
5,700.
That might be a little strong. As for Guyton, I mean, I actually, it was funny because I'm in a league where I'm just decimated injury. I was looking for receivers and I pulled him up, and then I just remembered the dude just fucking can't catch. But he's totally fine in what you're saying, like to put in your 150 pool.
Because he does have upside, no matter what you
they do throw him 2 bombs a game. But I just remember, like, people were like, "Oh, is Palmer?" This was like the first of 14 times Mike Williams gets injured. Is it going to be Palmer or is it going to be Guyton? And everybody liked Guyton, and I was like, "Nah, it's Palmer." And then it would just always be Palmer because Guyton, they would throw the ball to Guyton, and the dude would just run, and it would. Yeah. He had hands of concrete. So I mean,
it's the MVS version.
Exactly.
Yeah, Jamison Williams is on the other side for Detroit, who might be
both those guys can blow the top off, but reality is most of the time you're just going to watch them streak and go, yes.
I think Guyton's like a way better play than Jamison, though, just because Jamison has 19 other receivers. Guyton only has a couple.
I'm definitely not shitting on this play. I like these type of, if you're going to put a 3K guy in there in a 150 milli, then I would much rather have Guyton than this Minnesota clown. But I would never put him like in a main lineup because he's just going to get 0 like so often. But if you want to put like whatever 10% or 5% in like the milli because you're shooting for 250, then that's fine, whatever. But yeah, Guyton just sucks in general.
I think you described it perfect, though, and I don't think a lot of people do this good enough. Like, if you're playing 100-man field, say you're in a live final or something this week, you're not, but if you were a 100-man field, you would never really want to play a guy like Guyton. But in a milli where you got to beat 200,000 people, man, when Guyton houses those 2 bombs, that's how you win $1 million. So you really need to look at the contest you're in and evaluate. I always talk about ODB's teams with him when we talk. He's in that single entry thing, and the team always looks great compared to some of the ones I make. Two different formats, though, and you just got to build based on what you're in. And I think you guys described Guyton perfectly with that. Don't play him in a short field because he probably is going to get 0. He probably is, but his upside is 30.
So you guys don't like the Chargers studs? Like you don't like Keenan Allen? You think Keenan Allen's a bad player?
I definitely don't like Keenan Allen.
I mean, the problem is they're so condensed. You can, I think you can totally play Eckler or Allen.
How can you play Keenan Allen over Amon-Ra?
The only reason why I
wouldn't play Allen, but Eckler for sure you can play. Like that dude's role. But I just really love Detroit in this game. So if I'm going to spend up, I would just rather find other spots because I really like Detroit in this game, and I think they win. And I mean, defensively, they shut down. They shut teams down. I mean, other than Baltimore, they've shut teams down.
To this point, ODB, I want to read you off the passing attacks they've played here. Las Vegas, Baltimore, they got crushed by Baltimore. Tampa Bay, Carolina, Green Bay, Atlanta, Seattle, and then KC was the first. So the first 2 weeks, KC and Seattle. After that, all those teams.
Seattle handled them too.
Seattle threw against them too. Tyler Lockett had a big game, but the rest of those teams, those are not like volume passing attack teams that they played. That's a pretty soft schedule from a passing attack. Green Bay, Carolina, Tampa Bay, like Las Vegas with all the crap going on there. Like Detroit's a good team. I love Detroit. We love Detroit. We've said it. They're a good team. But I'm just saying they're not like the Chargers or the Bills where they want to throw it all over the field. Like that's not their game. They haven't really played a team like that yet. And I just think, I'm not saying Detroit's going to lose. I'm just saying I think it's a good spot for Keenan in the passing attack as opposed to, maybe
you guys already starched
me.
You guys got the point over me with Keenan, and you guys got to laugh at me, and I took my L. If you play Keenan at 8,800, I'm going to laugh at you next week. You are not getting to laugh at me.
No, wait. Time out. When did I laugh at you?
Way better play at 8,400.
Well, you should have laughed at me. You guys owned me. You guys said Keenan. I said no upside. You guys whooped my ass when he dropped 40. I took the L.
Honestly, I swear to God, I totally forgot about that.
I took the L on that. Next week, I'm rubbing it in because 8,800 for Keenan Allen is insane.
So I think, man, Keenan Allen is going to at least have a chance to be in the game, the whole game, and play. I think CeeDee Lamb after halftime, it's going to be like that Rams game, but they're not going to come back from it at all.
Dude, just play Higgins and Olave and save the money and play other things. Yeah. I mean, Higgins is going to be the number one receiver.
Alone, though, you could not play Keenan over Amon-Ra. At least in my opinion.
I like Amon-Ra too. I think.
You can play them both. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to play, 8,800 for Keenan is crazy with Eckler in there. It's crazy.
I think Keenan's ran bad in some of these games too. I don't know.
He ran bad in the one game. I'll give you the one.
He ran really bad in that one game.
Eckler's a much better play, especially if you like Detroit. They're down.
I'm with
Eckler could catch 10 dump offs.
I like Eckler infinitely more than Keenan Allen for 400.
Especially the opportunity cost. Like the mid-range receivers are good this week. There's a lot of good 6,500 receivers. There's the running back slate is kind of dusty. So like you said,
8,800 for Keenan.
I wonder though what the ownership's coming in at though when he's 8,800. Honestly,
I mean his projection's good, so he's gonna get some ownership.
People are gonna game stack this game too. So
8,800 is crazy. So. I'll die on the sword with it. That people can make fun of me next. 8,800 is crazy.
I'm with Big T on this one.
All right, we'll see. Atlanta and Arizona next.
Yes, the game I've been waiting for. Woo! I want to hear about these snap counts.
Atlanta versus Arizona. You've been waiting for this?
Yeah, I've been waiting for Bijan.
Oh, I know why. Bijan was on the Millie Maker winner. Yes, Bijan Robinson on the Millie winner. You're welcome. If you play
ODB didn't watch our argument.
And you won a Millie, and you won a milli, then congrats to you because you are the sharpest person in the fucking world if you played Bijan and won a damn
ODB,
milli.
me and JFK were
I
screaming
honestly
at
wish
each other.
I wish I watched the show because I played Bijan. It didn't matter. My team sucked, but it doesn't matter because all the running backs sucked. But
The best part about
Bijan
the
was
whole
a fucking
thing-
terrible play.
The best part about the whole thing is I didn't even get to Bijan in like my 3 teams. I played him in like my MME obviously, but I didn't even get to him.
Bijan
on
was
my
an
3
awful
teams.
play. If Tony said that before, he
I took a hard. We argued hard.
He took a hard stance on no Bijan.
all right.
He
Take
did.
your victory lap, Tony. Let's go.
Which is interesting because the man loved this dude coming into the year. I was
We
stunned
talked
when
about
Tony
this
was
on
not in.
Sunday, Dash you. Like, I've taken plenty of L's too, and I admit it.
No,
I
I'm
just took
saying it was funny because when I came into the show,
Yeah.
we didn't talk about it. So
No.
I expected you to be on the Bijan like train or the idea of Bijan, and you were like completely.
They refused, man. They refused to give him the touches. It's not going to happen. They won't do it. Even the coach in the interview afterwards is like, Algier really brought us home in the fourth quarter. And it's like, you just lost to a quarterback that came out of the crowd. What are we doing?
I mean, then are we playing Algier? Like he's 4700.
No, we're not playing anyone from Atlanta ever. We're done. Never. Ever. We're not playing Atlanta guys. Ever.
That's fair. All right, talk about it. Take your lap. Talk about it. Give us a winner in this game while you're at it.
No, I mean, as far as the game, it looks like. Do we think old Kyler's back this week?
I think they said that.
He is back.
They said
he's back. He's starting.
Which I mean, we could. It's got to be better than what they had, but I'm not a big Atlanta guy. Believe me, I hate how they play. I think they have talent. We all think they have talent. They're just so poorly coached. I just cannot get behind Arizona, though. So as far as the actual game, I just have to take Atlanta. I don't love it. It looks like James Conner might be back too.
Yes. Yep.
I can't take Arizona, though, so I'll take Atlanta as far as the game. As far as fantasy, I hate Atlanta games, so I'm going to probably be done with it.
Yeah. Trey McBride, Tony, could you play a little Trey McBride at 3,500?
I don't love him with Kyler as much, honestly.
That's fair.
I don't know. I got to think about him more. I'm not sure, but probably not.
You gotta like him with Kyler more. They're gonna have more scoring chances.
Are they though?
Yeah. Come on, they give more scoring. Of course, they're gonna have more scoring chances. Kyler's a better quarterback. I mean, we don't know what he's going to be this week, but I mean, just in general, like, I mean, they should.
Have you like seen him? Like, I thought he was bad before, and they show him like on the side. He's like fat.
There's a difference between bad. There's a difference between
Call of Duty all week.
There's a difference between Clayton Tune and Joshua Dobbs.
The Clayton Tune part. I think Dobbs might not be that much worse than Kyler.
Dobbs is fine, but I mean,
Clayton Tune, though, I'll give you that.
Dobbs got traded along with a 7th rounder for a 6th rounder. I mean, look, it's a great feel-good story.
Won a football game.
And he's fine. He's okay. But, I mean, Kyler Murray just got paid $300 million. Like, there's we might not love Kyler, but he is still a top 10 quarterback. I mean,
oh my God, a top 10 quarterback of what?
Dude, look, have you looked at the quarterbacks in the league right now?
Oh,
the quarterbacks in the league are awful.
If we had more time, I'd make everyone list their top 10 quarterbacks, but we don't have that much time. So keep going.
Marquise Brown too. Like, I mean, he's being priced as Clayton Tune's the quarterback, and the guy's got talent. He's got nuke ability. I mean, Minnesota just nuked this Atlanta defense.
Oh my God! Now you're gonna play Kyler?
I'm not playing Kyler.
I'm saying side all show.
I'm not playing Kyler.
Good, you guys fight for once.
Although I do have Kyler on both my teams this year. I'm going to be back on Kyler soon. But I think Marquise Brown is being priced like he's got a terrible quarterback, and he's got a decent quarterback now.
Oh my,
5,200 inside against a bad defense.
Dude, Atlanta is the worst tempos ever. Like, they're the worst games.
Okay, look, I that is totally justifiable. And also, they might be able.
You would drive to Cincinnati to whoop my ass.
They might be able to run, and keep the ball away from Arizona. But Marquise Brown is still one of those dudes who can just get behind a defense and hit them. So, I mean, 5,200, I'm not saying like he's going to be in my main lineup or anything like that, but 5,200 for a dude who does have 30-point upside inside with a quarterback who
the year is 17 points.
He also, yes, but his quarterback, Kyler, don't give a fuck. Kyler's just going to throw the ball. He's going to do what he wants. And if he connects with Marquise Brown, I mean, you're talking about Jalen Guyton. I mean, this guy's 2,200 more than Jalen Guyton. Marquise Brown, like, yeah, but Marquise Brown's like floored.
I can't believe we've been on the same side also, and then you come in hot with Arizona on me.
I'm not hot on Arizona. I don't like this game at all.
I'm just saying, on them.
There are plays.
He's a top 10 quarterback.
He is a top 10 quarterback. I'm sorry.
So who do you like with them? Brown, Rondell Moore, Greg? Who's the receiving option with them? Trey McBride.
I think Bryan and Brown are both. I'm not saying play Kyler.
Might as well double stack his ass up. Get them both in there.
I'm not playing Kyler. I'm just saying as a one-off. I think Arizona's going to score some points. They're going to have opportunities. There's only two guys on this team that are even viable, and it's Marquise Brown and it's Trey McBride. They're both relatively cheaply priced because they're priced as if they have Clayton Tune as their quarterback, and they don't. So I think both these guys are fine to put in as one-offs. I mean, I'd much rather have Trey McBride at 3,500 than Tanner Hudson split four ways with Cincinnati at 2,500. $1,000 is not that much.
The only issue with double stacking someone like Kyler Murray is his upside is in his legs.
I'm not saying double stack. I don't say
I know. I'm just saying.
Isn't that the only issue?
Well, no, I'm just saying. Like, that's like the main issue. How am I killing you?
Oh.
What did I say?
Put these guys in your 150s. Don't exclude Marquise Brown or Trey McBride.
Big T, if you start putting me in there, then I might have to play a Kyler team just to own your ass. So don't put me in here with the Kyler stance because then I'll have to play one just to get back at you.
Well, I mean, if you think that Atlanta's just going to keep the ball the whole time, that means you got to love Bijan, right?
Or Algier. That's my point by Tony.
No, you can't play any of those guys. Although Bijan might be the play this week. They might.
He's one time going to crush, but I don't know when
he is going to crush like one time. And this might actually be it.
Tony, it has to be on the flow chart, this matchup, right?
I haven't looked yet. I don't know.
I mean, Bijan is 6,000 versus the 30th. Yeah. I mean, Bijan, again, like people talk about Joe Mixon fatigue. People have serious Bijan fatigue.
The one thing I'll say about Kyler is Kyler loves his short yardage, quick hitters and stuff like that. So to me, it actually helps the underneath guys more. So anyone who's running underneath routes, like Rondell Moore and shit, like it's going to help guys like that who weren't really getting any work. Those are the guys that Kyler will actually bump, in my opinion. And it won't be as much the big time hitters like Brown. So I think it's if you're gonna play him or play anyone, it's like Trey McBride or anyone running the short routes and shit like that. So that's where I would go if I was targeting Arizona. But I won't be playing Kyler Murray.
Who'd they play?
Who do you like to win the game
last week? Who did Arizona play?
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Oh, Clayton Tune in Cleveland.
Oh, this week I'm really gonna have to play Mixon and Bijan because the matchups.
I told you. I knew you were going to.
I looked at the flow chart. I'm still putting it together in my head, but he's going to be like number one on the flow chart. Oh, God.
Either him or Algier, right? One of them is going to be number one.
I can't play Algier over him. I just can't.
Maybe Arthur Smith shaved his mustache and is just turning over a complete new leaf.
I really do think there's something to it, though, DB. Like, he was getting killed in the press conference, and he was defending.
He might be like, you want Bijan? I'll give you fucking Bijan. We're going to run him 30 times.
Oh, God.
Definitely possible
this week.
Oh yeah,
You
I'm
guys are
playing
going to
Bijan
tell me
now.
like I tell K-Fal, like, well, you got 3:30 and then 3. That's going to be your speech to me on Sunday.
If he's going to be chalked, then there's no way you're going to play him if he's going to be
I'm
chalked.
playing
He's
Bijan
going to
and
be
Mixon.
number one on the
Let's
flow
go.
chart. I know that. Oh.
I'm going to play Algier. I'm playing Algier if he's number one on the flow chart. All right, we still got 2 more games to get to. Let's get to them. Pretty straightforward games, though. Dallas and the Giants here in Dallas. 16-point spread here. Cowboys are obviously favored. 38.5 is this total. And, man, I think the Cowboys could get there on their own, honestly, because I think this game's going to be like 37-3 or something like that. So it might go over. I think the lock of – we had the Cleveland Browns defense last week, which we talked up on the show. I told everyone was by far the best defensive play on the board. This dude for the Giants, he may be one of the worst quarterbacks I've seen like out there on the field. Like he cannot throw. He is terrible. Like absolutely terrible.
Remember what I told you when you asked about him the first time?
The first time I asked about him, Tony was like stunned he was in the NFL. And then he was like, oh my God, he's the worst quarterback. I can't believe he's in the NFL. And I get why he said that. He is terrible. I mean, lock him in for 2 picks. Lock him in for probably
2 picks
turnovers.
What are you talking about? They're going to throw the ball 4 times.
They're going to have to throw the ball 20 times like they did against the Vegas Raiders. It's going to be the same thing. They're going to be down 30 and you're going to snap your fingers. They're going to be down 30. I'm telling you right now, they're going to have to throw the ball because they're going to be down the whole game. The Cowboys are going to kill this. The Cowboys destroy teams like this. They're going to absolutely kill him with pressure. They're probably going to get 2 defensive touchdowns early, and Dak won't have to do that much because the defense is just going to absolutely own them. But, I think this defense, I'm just going to play the Dallas defense for sure, and I think that they score a lot of points. So, Cowboys by destruction. Tony, Cowboys by destruction or not?
I'm more convinced than ever. You guys are going to make fun of me because you know I'm the Cowboys. I'm more convinced than ever after last week that the Cowboys are the best team in football. I think they look very good. I knew you guys would make fun of me. They were much better than the Eagles for almost that entire game.
I'm not laughing at that, Tony. I'm laughing because I know why you think that, and it's just funny to me because I thought you would say something like that. I just love the Cowboys.
Their players are just good, and I think they're going to kill the Giants. I'm with JSU. I don't see any way they don't roll in this game. The only way they don't roll is if the offense struggles and it's like a 20-13 game or something where it's just like that. But I don't see how the Giants are going to score. Everything JSU said, I agree with. Pollard, I'm going to be interested to see the ownership on Pollard when he just hasn't got the work. He doesn't look right. And really a flyer with how big they're going to win by? I think Rico Dowdle at 4,300, he's gotten work. If you think it's a blowout, I think he could get like 10 carries this week. This is a game.
Afternoon slate. Rico.
Afternoon slate. Great play.
Yeah.
I like where your head's at right there because I love punting on a 3-game slate.
You can't play him in the main slate, but Rico in the afternoon slate.
That is a good take.
I love that call. You play Rico,
play him
Cowboys
with the defense,
beat.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean that's just.
Yeah.
God,
this
I like
team
that
won
call
40-0 in New York in Week 1, and that was with the Giants healthy. Like
I love
this
that
team.
call.
Oh, they're gonna win by. They're gonna
I'm
win
ready
by
to
40
register
plus.
for the afternoon slate right now just to play him. That is a good take.
Bookmark that.
You want to know who's freaking good too that we've been on from the beginning? Mary Ferguson is freaking good at football. And Dallas just comes into him too. Dax look good. I know people make fun of me for my Dallas love, but I look at this roster. I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. So it is what it is.
I mean, Dak looked good. If Dak plays like that, they're going to have a good chance because Dak looked pretty damn good against the Eagles.
Dallas is going to piss down their leg.
Well, that's what they always do.
They always fucking do. They're not winning the Super Bowl. They're not getting to the Super Bowl. Stop.
saving this video. I'm bookmarking 1 hour, 29 minutes into the Week 10 show. I'm saving it. We're going to
lock it in. Lock it in. Let's go to the last game on the main slate. We got Washington.
Good. I don't want you in there
versus
either,
Seattle.
Uncle T. Uncle T can be with you guys. You guys can have his ass. We don't want you in here, Uncle T.
now all the Dallas choke comments coming out here. I love it. Jokers. All right, we'll see. But we got Washington, Seattle here. Seattle coming off getting an ass kicking done to them, and Washington coming off a win. Trading two of their better defensive talents and coming off a win against New England. 6-point spread. 45 and
Come
a
to
half
me
is
first
the
on this
total.
one, JSU.
Let's hear it, ODB. What do you got?
Flowchart AF. Geno Smith stack.
You
Let's
know it. The
fucking
flowchart,
go.
baby.
Let's
Woo!
fucking go. Geno stack time. He's probably going to be chalky, but Geno, flowchart. I mean, Big T sent me this lineup last week. Fucking Mac Jones, Hunter Henry, Pop Douglas.
ODB knows me
Fucking-
too good.
He sent me this Mac Jones lineup, and I'll just give you
Tell him
an
what you
insight
said.
on
Yeah, tell him.
how I razz Big T. I said if that lineup wins money, I will fly to Kentucky and give you a blowy on the workbench.
It did win money. It won money is the funny part.
The best part is Big T fucking shipped a whole boatload of money, and I don't got to go to Kentucky and give him a blowy on the workbench. But this week it's Seattle. I almost dropped Geno Smith in my season long, and I held him for this week. This is going to be an absolute smash spot. You can go ahead if you want to. If you don't want to pay up for Dallas, play Seattle. The Washington offensive line is atrocious. Sam Howell gets sacked. Seattle has gotten a ton of pressure. Oh, I didn't even realize the Seahawks were 4,100. Jesus Christ.
They're 4,100 because they're going to score 4,100
They're gonna score a lot. I like Seattle a lot in this football game. Their defense does exactly what Washington struggles with, and that's when you get pressure on the quarterback. And you saw what Seattle did versus the Giants' offensive line. I think they're going to do very similar things against this Washington, and they're going to be pissed off after they just got curb stomped by Baltimore. And Geno Smith, all the negative. I don't know if I'm a biter or not, golf drone, because I never done it, but and now I don't have to do it. Now I don't have to. So anyway, I think this is let's show the world Geno's not as bad as he's looked the last couple weeks, and this is the absolute perfect get right spot. I love Geno. I love DK. Lockett. If you want to throw JSN in there for his fucking 12-point ceiling, go ahead. That's fine. But whatever. Anybody, any stack, just mix them all up. We've already given you a lot of good one-off plays. This stack is very affordable, so you can put in the one-offs. You can put in the correlation, one on one side, one on the other, that we've talked about throughout the game. But I just love this. I love this spot.
Man, is DK going to have like one upside performance of the year? Like, if it is, it's got to be this week, right? I mean, look at what he's done. 6, 11, 10, 12. He had 20 1 week, 13, 13. Is he going to have one explosion week? It's got to be this week, right, Tony?
Yeah, ODB he's so sharp that he just swoops right in knowing all the takes. And this is everything he just said. I totally agree with. The number one float, it's worked back-to-back weeks too with the receivers in the right spots. You just got to trust. I mean, Mac Jones was awful. There was still opportunity there, though. He just missed guys. The matchup was right, and I mean, it's just the absolute net.
By the way, it wasn't all Mac Jones' fault. Jalen Reagor got hit in the hands on a deep ball and could not catch it. I think twice.
this spot here with Geno not getting pressure on him, these receivers, it's just too easy. And I mean, I don't want to guarantee it'll be my core. Pretty good chance, though, that I'm going to be in on this spot. And honestly, I think a sneaky run back, though, that no one's going to play that I love is Antonio Gibson in a trailing script at 4,600. He's going to catch 8 dump-offs. And I think he's a great run back to get us a little contrarian. This game, I love. ODB broke it down perfect. It's the nut spot. And the defense is going to nuke. So I agree everything what ODB just said.
Yeah, I can't play the defense over the Cowboys. Just
you don't
absolutely.
have to just play one. Play them both.
I know the Cowboys are just going to score. They're going to score 40 though, Tony, and the
They're
Giants
both going to score a bunch. Seattle's going to. Washington takes so many sacks.
That's true.
The nut spot. They're both a nut spot. Just split them.
Yeah. All right. Fine. Maybe I'll play 60-40.
I mean, they're going to crush. Both of them are going to crush.
They both will.
If
the difference is, so what ODB said, this will get you over. Washington's going to for sure throw. The Giants are for sure going to throw because they could still just take their L and just run it all over the place. Washington is 1,000,000% going to throw. So
they will. Yeah.
It's the nut. It's the nut spot.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I like Seattle too, so I'm with you guys. Seattle by destruction, Seattle stacks, play the wide receivers. I'm all in on that. And then I like the Antonio Gibson call. It's a good sneaky trailing script call. Yeah, we'll see on those
too. I don't want it in random teams. That's why I've always been better hand building until recently with the optimizer, but I don't want it on net random. I only want it in like my Geno stack or double stack run back. I don't want it on like a just random team. I want it.
Yeah, because it will make the most sense on like a double stack Geno team where they get up and then they need to trail script throw more. So, yep, I'm with you there.
One thing people, I mean, I'm not a big field tournament, but I listen to the shows and I look at the stuff and I think about it, even though I don't actually do it. People think like these nut spots or whatever are going to be so high owned, and they never are, because everybody always plays all these contrarian stacks and all this. All you got to do is just make sure that like you're not putting in the nut fill-ins, not the nut, but just the most played fill-ins. All you got to do is just vary it a little bit that way. Like you don't have to just avoid the Geno stack. I mean, these quarterbacks never come in as high as you think they are. And the pieces and working it together, just make sure that you have something just a little bit different in there. Like whatever, throw in like a George Pickens or something in there instead of like whoever the nut guy is. I don't even know. I haven't looked at ownership or anything, but just make sure you have like some guys who don't automatically fill in with those spots in the Sims. Like take whoever the Sims really love and just pick a different dude. Like that's similar price range or whatever. You just can't play the most played fill-ins with these stacks, but you can play these stacks. And you can play them in different ways. Maybe put some with Noah Fant in there, or whoever the fucking tight end is. Or maybe put one with Charbonnet or whatever. I don't know. Just find a different way to put somebody in there that's not supposed to. But you don't have to tail away. When people say like to be contrarian and stuff, just stay away from the 45% Wan'Dale Robinsons. That's all you got to do. Like you don't have to stay away from the 20% Geno Smith stacks, in my opinion. So anyway, that's just my thought on the whole thing.
Facts. Don't worry about quarterback chalk ever.
And if Seattle's up, Tony, would that mean Charbonnet probably plays a little more too? Do we think?
I mean, no, I don't. That's my only worry at all with the Seattle stack is Washington just gets beat so bad that Pete just runs the ball. But that's my only worry about it.
I mean, it could happen for sure. Late slate. Only
the late slate for sure. Yeah.
Here we go. Rico Dowdle with one of Antonio Gibson or Zach Charbonnet as your
I genuinely think, and I've crushed those late slates. And JSU's done good too in these. In these short slates, you can do weird stuff like play all three of them on a team and then just play all studs with it. Stud receivers, stud D, stud quarterback. And that's how you win a 3-game slate. But like ODB said, that's not how you really need to attack a full slate. It's two different things.
Yeah, and all you need is like 1 or 2 plays that are just off the board on that late slate. You could play everyone else that you think is like just the top plays on the board and just have like 1 or 2 guys that you think are, going to be, very contrarian and just run with it. So, yeah, I think that's it, boys. Broke down the whole main slate, gave some good takes. Guys, remember, hit that like button on the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, code NBA15 is the promo code over at Rumpier Sports. Get in, join, 15% off your first month's payment. NBA 15 will get you. And we got an NBA show coming up at 4:45 Eastern time today on this YouTube channel for free. So make sure you guys, if you want the NBA winners, stick around for that.
Let me say one more thing. I'm not a paid endorser RPS. I do this show because I love these guys. I love Big T. And he's given me a platform to chat and do the thing that I love. These guys put a lot of time, money, their heart, their soul. You watch these shows. You saw Big T gave you the exact lineup he played. He does that a lot. JSU, same thing. All these dudes do. If you like the show, their product is not expensive. Even if you only use it some of the time, like give these guys a little kickback for their time and effort. They're not asking me to do this. They're not paying me to do it. Just give these guys just kick these guys back a few bucks. Just pay for their product. It's not expensive, and they put their time and their heart and their soul into it. I know Big T fucking lives and dies with every slate. He loves it more than when he wins. He loves it when a Discord member wins and when people who use the stuff win. He gives away a lot of equity. If he didn't give away that showdown, that all that information that he gives away on these shows, he would be solo shipping and only chopping it 2 ways instead of 10 ways. Like, he does a lot of stuff that actually cost him EV. I don't even know if he makes as much money as he could just if he just didn't have this show. Like, so kick these guys back a few bucks a month. Like, join the show, and I'm sure you'll pay for it. I mean, you will get your money's worth. So they give great product, and they put everything they got into it. So hit the like, join the movement, and yeah, that's all I got. It's good to be back on the show.
Thanks, ODB. Appreciate those words, guys. Again, NBA 15. Use that code, 15% off, and get in. Like ODB said, join the movement. Get in the Discord and, talk some sports with us. Get in there. You can add any one of us in the Discord. ODB's in the Discord. You can hit up ODB in the Discord.
Send me a DM. If I ever open up Discord, I'll answer back.
Yeah, well, we didn't say he was in there all the time. We just said we got him in there. So,
yeah.
But guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Good luck in your contest tonight if you're playing NBA, NHL, whatever you got going on. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Showdown show, up to lock. Me, Big T, Wiley, 7:15 Eastern time on this channel. So stay tuned for that. Until then, for Big T, ODB, and myself, JSU, let's run pure. We're out. Peace.